It may be next to impossible to visit over 10 different countries in a day and explore all of the culture, traditions, and history behind them. But gastronomically, it can be a matter of only breakfast, lunch, and dinner when you choose to explore some of the many diverse restaurants and cafes serving traditional fare in the multicultural neighborhoods of Canada.
I'm Judy and I run the Free Times Cafe. It's going to be December 15th. It's going to be the 38th anniversary of the Free Times Cafe. And isn't that amazing? And of course it's been run by a woman. Probably one of the longest running restaurants with live entertainment every single night in the city, maybe the longest, run by a woman with no man in the suit here. And right now, actually, I have no managers as well. I only have a personal assistant and wonderful staff. So that's an alternative way of doing things. And thank you so much. Yay!
This is a very male-oriented business. 99% of owners of restaurants, especially licensed restaurants with liquor license, are men. So I'm very unusual because I'm a woman. Women are in the food business, but usually it's catering or parties or things like that. So Canada is a great place for women because there is a sense of more equality. And like when I went to Israel when I was younger, and then people asked me what I did, I said I owned a restaurant. They said, do you have a partner? I said, no. They said, you must have a partner. I said, I don't have a partner. You must have a partner. I don't have a partner. They didn't believe me, okay? You know, Ashkenazi cuisine came out of the Eastern Europe, so it's Eastern European style foods, you know, and you also have different kinds of Ashkenazi food. You know, in Poland, because the farmers were allowed to have sugar beet farms, they had all the sugar that they need to use, so a lot of Polish Jewish food is sweet. Whereas the Russians don't like it sweet, they like it salty. Romanians would put more garlic in and use eggplants, whereas I never saw an eggplant until I was 18 years old. So depending on the countries that people were brought up in, they absorbed the food culture of those areas. Well, coming up is Hanukkah, right? Hanukkah is coming up on December the 2nd, and we make the best potato latkes. So we started marketing our potato latkes about 10 years ago, and we have loyal customers, and we sell about 1,000 dozen latkes to go for Hanukkah. And we include our own homemade applesauce, so it's really the best place and probably the only place where you can pick them up hot.
Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehavlik ner shel Hanukkah. Thank you so much, and enjoy the wonderful music from the Freila Klezmer Band. Let's have a big hand here for it.
everybody likes to try different kinds of food. At the brunch, it's probably about 50% Jewish and maybe 50% other people. We get a lot of Persians, we got quite a few Chinese people come, Canadians love it. It's a family event, people love the music. So, you know, it definitely is a Jewish theme event, but it doesn't just attract Jewish people, and I'm probably the only restaurant in the city that serves Jewish food that doesn't just serve it to Jewish customers. So it's a really, really good service that I'm doing to bring the food to other people. The inspiration came from, you know, my food background. You know, my grandmother would bring gefilte fish to her house and mandelbrot and chunky coleslaw and applesauce all the time. My mother made latkes at Hanukkah. We had stores, we would buy blintzes and cook blintzes. So I was brought up in a Jewish food environment, and we did eat all kinds of food, but we did eat a lot of Jewish food. And I really wanted to bring Jewish food in because I found the quality of the Jewish food in 1995 was very poor, and I thought, you know, people are not cooking this food right. Somebody has to do this. And I was living in my mother's home. She had passed away in a Jewish neighborhood on Eglinton, and there were bagel stores and bakeries, and I thought, you know, I don't have my own children. I want to have Jewish food. So I thought of the idea to bring Jewish food into my restaurant, and I thought of all the issues I had with my Jewish customers, like they want the food on the table before they get there. So I thought, oh, a Jewish brunch buffet would be a great idea, and if it's gonna last, it has to be amazing and really fantastic. So I spent a whole summer researching recipes and made up all the recipes, and I hired a chef who I still have, Sandrine, to learn how to cook all this food, and we started the brunch on November the 10th of 1995.
So what
Okay.
all right, what do we have here today?
Okay, here we have 2 cheese blintzes with our homemade applesauce and sour cream and our very famous potato latkes. And here we have our chicken matzo ball soup, which has the matzo balls and rye bread with caraway seeds in it. And then we have our Israeli type food that we have with hummus, chickpea and kale salad, grilled vegetables, a Romanian eggplant salad, and couscous, and our famous falafel balls and grilled vegetables. Well, you know, I think the moments are, you know, for me at the brunch, particularly, you know, when you have the families and you have the elders. Maybe the elders might have been Holocaust survivors, you know. And I remember one time there was a man. He was 91. It was a big long table, and he's sitting at the head of the table with all his family around, saying, "This is a miracle. This is a miracle." And it was a miracle, and I made that miracle happen for him, and that makes me happy. You know, during the week, you know, it's really nice. We have a lot of older customers at lunch, and this is like the only place that they would be able to go to. So it makes me happy that they have a place to come to. And the music that we have here at night as well, we've had more than 12,000 nights of music and poetry and drama here during the week. So this is the place that a lot of musicians in Toronto started out. So I'm very pleased to be a conduit for the food and the culture and the music that has happened. And really, Toronto would not have been the same city that it is today without Three Times Cafe.
I was looking for something to do, and it was a suggestion prompted by my ex-brother-in-law's father. Looking back on it today, I'm really glad that I did it. It's 44 years and I'm very, very happy. Well, we have our traditional corned beef sandwich, which is basically boiled after it's been brined for 2 to 3 weeks. And we put it into the steam table after it comes cryovac, and we basically heat it up and we put it on a slicer to put it into a sandwich. And basically we have 3 different sizes of sandwiches, but as you know, corned beef is just boiled brisket, boiled to a certain extent, and it has very, very flavorful juices and stuff like that. So I'm going to make you a corned beef sandwich and see how you like it, okay?
Mm-hmm. And then essentially when you founded the delicatessen, you went with the classic American delicatessen in a sense where Ashkenazi traditions and a lot of the ingredients are.
Absolutely, and we've stuck to that model, whereas most delicatessens today, and they, excuse my French, bastardized the word deli.
Right.
Deli to me is corned beef, pastrami, smoked meat, the knishes, the latkes, that kind of stuff. Today, almost every store in the corner can call himself a deli if they sell a sandwich or something like that. But the true deli is the Ashkenazi, the 1900 turn of the century deli that used to be in New York. Yeah. And that's the tradition that I try to carry on. At Wolfie's, it's traditional to put 2 slices of bread at the bottom and 2 at the top because we give you so much meat, you could make 2 sandwiches. Did you want me to put mustard on it? Okay, we have a fantastic own hot mustard, if you like, that we make ourselves. And I will show you how to do that. So the 3 sizes of sandwiches that we make are a half-size sandwich, which basically includes 4 ounces of meat, a regular sandwich, which is 8 ounces of meat, and then we also make a wolf-size sandwich, which is 16 ounces of meat. We put 2 slices at the bottom, 1 in the middle, and then 2 more slices on top. So it's basically a big, big double-decker. Key ingredients in running a delicatessen is price, the quality, and the service, naturally. So I've tried to keep all of those intact, and thank God I've been very successful. Mm-hmm. But this is our regular sandwich at Wolfie's. Cut in half. Okay. And this is our sandwich at Wolfie's. We also have a very flavorful Montreal smoked meat sandwich, which is basically the same thing. It's a brisket, but it is got lots of peppercorns, and then it's put into the smokehouse. And the peppercorns give it a really, really nice flavor. A little bit spicy, but as you can see, it's the same kind of meat, but it's very dark because it's been put into the smokehouse. Well, that actually, the Montreal smoked meat, I think, has its basis in Europe.
Of course.
What the whole idea was with the pastrami or smoked meat, the spice, that was basically a preservative to preserve the meat. Mm-hmm. It was called pastrima. Mm-hmm. And it came to New York in the early 1900s. And when they started preserving meat, and it was actually goose meat that they used to do back in Europe, in Poland. But when it came here, the beef was so much more prevalent than goose meat because it was very hard to get. So they basically pastramaed the corned beef briskets, and I think the name pastrami came from when they had salami and pastrama, salami, pastrami. Mm-hmm. And my Montreal smoked meat is basically a form of pastrami, heavy spice on it, so that they call it the Montreal smoked meat. And the Montreal Ashkenazi Jews used a particular preservation agent to make it with that kind of taste, and that's where it became famous. Should I make you a wolf-size sandwich out of that? Should I? Okay, I will do that. And I'm going to put regular mustard on this one, okay? We also have honey mustard, and some people, believe it or not, actually ask for ketchup too. So we have that available too. The Montreal smoked meat, who were originally made in Montreal by Ashkenazi Jews who came over from Europe. So this is the traditional Montreal smoked meat sandwich, a little bit flavorful with lots of peppercorns. Okay, and we put mustard on this, and then we put a little bit mustard on this. And making a tower. Canada has a tradition of also delis. I think going back to the 30s and 40s, a lot of people remember on Spadina Avenue there was Shopsies and Switzers and Beckers, and you could talk delis that they're really people. If you talk to older people, remember them. They remember 5-cent corned beef sandwiches, you know. So they had a very, very big tradition, and their menus were quite limited, like mine. I've kept basically almost the same kind of menu today that they did back there in the 40s and the 50s, and still survived.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the wolf's eye sandwich.
Beauty.
Yeah. Traditionally, a lot of Ashkenazi Jews who moved to Montreal and Toronto only knew about corned beef, but once they developed in the early century to make it into Montreal smoked meat, and they basically rotated it and ground it and everything else, a lot of people moved to this. But today, the number one seller is still the corned beef, but Montreal smoked meat comes very, very close. We stick to deli. We don't have any other kind of, I don't even serve any green salads or anything like that. It is coleslaw, potato salad, knishes, latkes, and there's no other salads. There's no, subs or stuff like that. Strictly Jewish style deli.
Right.
Okay, and now I'm going to make you a roast beef special with coleslaw and a pickle. And it's a Jewish style pickle that was developed a long, long time ago with the roast beef. The secret to the Jewish pickle that it's got to be hard. It's got to be a hard pickle. It's not soft, and it doesn't have vinegar in it. It's just brine and dill. Well, when it comes to deli, for example, the kishke is definitely there. Like I said to you, the latkes, the knishes are always there. The meat is the number one thing. We've expanded to take, smoked turkey, roast turkey, salami is definitely an old thing. But the corned beef pastrami, roast beef, and smoked meat are the staples of the deli. So we stick to those, and that's it. My menu is very, very limited in that sense, but it's all going back to what they used to serve in delis. And of course, roast beef, everybody knows what roast beef is. Also made from the brisket, it has to be from the brisket. And our special, $13.99 at Wolfie's, any sandwich with coleslaw or potato salad. The pickles we actually buy in pails. And believe it or not, I've had to change over the years. Today I buy it from Timex Pickles. Timex makes a wonderful old-style Polish-style pickle, and it's very, very good. But as you could see, our pickles that we buy in the pails are quite different than the ones that they jar. The ones in the jar are very, very small. The ones that we serve over here are the big pickles that come in pails. That's the original pickle from Europe. They're all old pill pickles, which Ashkenazi Jews used to make over there. We've kept the tradition of having the briskets and not having any milk products or any pork products here. Most delis do not anymore. As a matter of fact, I have a Reuben sandwich, which is a very famous sandwich, and that's one of the main ingredients is Swiss cheese. Well, in Wolfie's Deli, I don't serve the cheese. I don't have any milk products. I've kept with that tradition, but today it's very hard in serving people of all races and types to tell them that we don't have it. I think here I can get away with it because I'm in North York. I think if there was a deli like mine anywhere else, it would be very, very hard not to do it. Yeah, it was first definitely consumed mostly by Jewish people, delicatessens. And then I think when people saw it and other people, other cultures walked in and tried it. They loved it. And everybody enjoys it today. I think everybody enjoys deli today.
Love those pickles. Roots are not lost, but rather cared for and celebrated in evolving Ashkenazi communities across Canada. And you may find that a good recipe for an Ashkenazi meal is in great part a celebration of heritage and a sense of connection across many generations. Until next time.